Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
This is Let's Finally Talk, a heart-to-heart with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Live streaming every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Join me on YouTube at Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, on Facebook at Dr. Jacalyn, and on Instagram at Dr. Jacalyn, as seen and heard on the USA Global TV and Radio Network worldwide. We've earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award, and I've earned the 100 Global Top Women Icons in Media. My TV shows are Iconic Women, Creating a World of Possibilities, Judgment, the Hidden Sin, A Woman's Prerogative, Sisterhood Across Borders, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, and the latest updates. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. We're streaming every night live on Let's Finally Talk. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, and specifically welcome to my show, Let's Finally Talk. Today's episode is building on yesterday's episode, which built on the day before. And so if you've missed any of our episodes, please go over to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you can find the playlist there, Let's Finally Talk. Today, I'm going to be talking about forgiveness is not an invitation. We are going to look at how sometimes we make the mistake of forgiving someone and then automatically letting them back into our life. And so sometimes we do this because we confuse healing and guilt. We confuse reconnection with the fact that we haven't actually forgotten what's happened to us. And so many times people will come to me in a coaching capacity and they'll say that something happened to them and they thought about it and they decided to forgive the person. They haven't forgotten what they've done, but the person still wants to be in their life. And so they struggle with that. And I've struggled with that. And maybe you've struggled with it too. It's kind of like, well, what do I do now? Because they have done something. They have shown me who they are. And I talked about this in an earlier episode, which is once you see something, you can't unsee what you now know. So it typically causes us to take action and make some decisions. And sometimes we choose not to make a decision, which is also a decision. So if you've ever seen any of my programs or know anything about me, I fully support what I've created and trademarked as elevated listening. And elevated listening really helps us with that conversation between what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and really how we can find internal peace and still set up those extended external boundaries. And remembering the fact that we typically, unless we choose not to, follow a pattern of repeating behaviors. And so what do I mean by this? When we are in a relationship with someone and we're paying attention, we typically get to understand how they work, what motivates them, maybe what triggers them. And so we know how far we can push them, and they know how far they can push us. And so we might have something happen to us as a result of the relationship. And they know we're going to forgive them. They know it might take a little bit of time and they might have to be on their best behavior, but that we will at some point forgive them. And so, what this basically does is it establishes a pattern where we're basically saying to the person, it's okay to do harm. It's okay to wrong me. It's okay to disrespect me. It's okay to treat me any way that you want because I will probably forgive you at some point in the future. That's what we're saying to someone. So we forgive them and then we allow them to do the exact same thing that they've been doing. And they know that we're going to put up with it. And I say put up with it because we have a choice. We always have a choice of how we respond. And I know for myself, many, many years ago, my response would be immediate to something. I wouldn't actually take the time to think about it. I would just go into action right away, whether it was a phone call or a text or someone reaching out to me. I felt like I had to respond right away. And with the wisdom of time and age, I don't do that anymore. I actually take time to think things through. And that's what I'd like to suggest to you as well, that you do some elevated listening to yourself and what's coming up for you. So I want to talk about why forgiveness is sometimes misunderstood. Why, when we say, you know what, okay, I'm going to forgive you. Or someone might say, you know what, it would mean the world to me if you would forgive me. And we think about it and we say, okay, you know what, I'm willing to forgive the person. But that doesn't mean that we want them in our life. And again, we get to make a choice. The title of the episode is Forgiveness is Not an Invitation. So I want you to think back to a time when you felt like you were wronged by someone, or you were disrespected by someone, or things just didn't go the way that you would have liked them to go. And they asked you to forgive them. And you did. So they committed a wrong to you, you forgave them, and then they asked you to let them back in the door. And you did. You basically held the door open for them and said, you know what, come on back in, come on back in. And so what ends up happening? Unless they're actually working on themselves, or unless you have set boundaries, very clear and distinct boundaries, something similar masked as something else, or maybe the same thing, probably happens. And so we get angry and we say to the person, you know what, I knew you were going to do this to me. I knew that this was going to happen, but yet it's actually our fault because we left the door open. And that's what I want you to consider. What is it that you're doing? How are you contributing to the dysfunction, the discomfort of whatever it is that's going on in your life? Sometimes we forgive because we feel pressured to do it. People in our inner circle, they might say, you know what, it's time to move on. You've got to move on. Well, what does moving on look like? Does moving on mean that you have to have the person in your life? No, of course not. Maybe it's even not about someone else. Maybe it's about you. Maybe it's about something that you did or didn't do, or that you said or didn't say. And you need to forgive yourself. It always starts with us first. And we forgive ourselves, but we don't have a strong why as to how and why we're not going to do it again. So we go back to the exact same thing. And we're basically inviting ourselves to continue to stay in the dysfunction. This show is not about judgment. Okay, elevated listening, which is what I base my entire platform about, is not about judgment. So what I'd like for you today is to actually take away something that you can incorporate into your own life. When you have the opportunity to forgive yourself and or forgive someone else, you also have a choice to make. The choice is, will you continue, if it's about you, with the same type of behavior patterns, or will you choose a different path? What have you learned about your own behavior on the journey to forgiveness? And if it is about someone else, what has the situation taught you, not only about them showing you who they are, but also about yourself and how you reacted to their behavior? This is a point I think that's often overlooked is we get so emotional and so angry and so preoccupied with what's happened, with what someone's done or what we've experienced or what we imagine that they've done, that we cannot move forward in any healthy capacity. And so, therefore, it might start affecting our health. It might start affecting our sleep, which can also affect our health. It might start affecting our relationships with other people and even our relationship with ourselves. We might start doubting ourselves. We might start really coming down on ourselves because we're not aware of the fact that we have a choice. When someone wrongs you, when something doesn't go the way that you want it to go, you can't control that. Let's look at the whole political climate in this world today, or some of the situations that are going on. I see on social media so much anger and so much hatred. And is that really constructive? Is that really bringing any value? Is that helping you get closer to inner peace? Now, some people might say, you know what, when I'm angry and I'm venting, I'm getting it off of my chest. But you're actually putting it in the public domain and it's actually tagging along to you and your profile and who you are. And so people start to associate that you are the angry person. And maybe when they start working themselves, they don't want to be aligned with someone who's angry. They don't want to be aligned with someone who's always talking about politics or putting down the administration or talking about a lot of the issues in this world in a way that is not constructive. But we have to offer forgiveness. But that doesn't mean that we have to let them in our life. That doesn't mean that we have to actively start following them on social media or we have to invite them for the holidays or we have to engage with them. We can acknowledge that they feel a certain way and that they wronged us or that their behavior we found offensive. But that doesn't mean it's an invitation to be an active part of your life. In your life today, think of someone whom you have connection with, a relationship with, and it's not really serving you. But you are coming from a place of fear and you are afraid to let go of the relationship. Maybe it's a job. You're afraid to let go because of the paycheck. And you torment yourself every day. You think to yourself, why am I still involved with this person or this organization or this company? Because we're afraid to let go. We're afraid to see what life looks like without having this person's company, etc. in our life. So we ultimately have to forgive ourselves. And in forgiving ourselves, it usually means we have to change some part of our own behavior. And this is where it gets difficult because we want change to be immediate, but yet the behavior grew over time. Because if you just met someone, let's say you were going on public transportation and someone offended you, you would think you're probably not going to have some kind of meaningful relationship with the person because you just met them and they already insulted you. But it's different when we're already in a relationship and it's been building little things, little digs, little passive aggressive comments, and it builds over time. And we feel this resentment building, but yet we don't do anything with it. And then suddenly one day, we just explode. We just lose it. We just tell the person everything that we've been thinking, how we've been feeling about the way they've been treating us. And they may or may not apologize, but they ask us to forgive them. Even if they don't ask us to forgive them, in order to move forward and have a healthy life and a healthy mindset, we will need to forgive them because it's like a bag of bricks that you carry around everywhere. Have you ever seen this or have you ever experienced it where you're so angry, it just clouds everything? You can't stop thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it, and it could be something really serious. It could be a crime that was committed against you or someone in your family. Or it could be something where somebody just said something so cutting, they just really hurt your feelings. And all you think about is how you want to get back at them, that you want revenge, that you want your time, you want to be able to say whatever it is. But is this serving you? Is it serving you to meet anger with anger? Is it serving you to acknowledge the fact that you have a relationship or relationships that are based on fear? You're afraid to be without them. You're afraid to let go of the job to do what it is you really want to do. You're afraid to let go of your busy schedule so that you can actually find something that brings you joy. And one day you wake up and say, wow, all these years went by and I haven't been doing what I really wanted to do. Or I've been in a relationship with this person and all they did was insult me. All they did was subtly, in little subtle ways, little passive aggressive comments, all they did was put me down. The emotional confusion comes when people associate forgiveness with access. The access of giving someone your time. If you look at everything that we have in life and everything that we don't have, the one thing we do have in common is time. You're taking the time to watch this episode right now. You could be doing something else. And by taking the time and by being here, my hope is that you will take something away from this that you can incorporate to find inner peace. So you always have a choice of who you're spending your time with and what you do. And so you can choose to be angry. You absolutely can. And you can choose to have that anger be a part of who you are. Did you ever know anyone or do anyone, you say to yourself, that's one angry person? I do. I can think of two people right now that pretty much their entire platform is based on anger. And I know that that anger is based on pain. It's based on pain and it's based on fear. But does that mean that I have to have that person, those people in my life? No, it does not. Because by surrounding ourselves with people who are angry and who constantly wrong us, insult us, put us down, use passive aggressive behavior, think they're outwitting us with their comments, all they're doing really is putting a wall up between us. So by forgiving them, we're actually forgiving ourselves because we have let them in our lives. There are some people I know that as soon as someone shows them who they are, and they'll say, no, I'm sorry, but I can't have any business relationship with you. I can't have a personal relationship with you. They're really strong in their convictions. They're really strong in who they are and what their values are. And they see right away that the other person has a set of values that are different. And not that they're judging them, they're just saying, your values are different than mine, and I don't see us having any intersection in terms of business or personal. And I really admire that. I admire when someone says, no, we can't work together. No, we can't have a relationship, whatever the case may be, as opposed to people who let everyone in. And I say this when I do my coaching, I'll say to people, who is your product or service for? It's for everyone. No, it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to be your friends. Not everyone wants to do business with you. Not everyone wants to sit and break bread with you. So we have to be aware of who we are letting in our life and who we're keeping in our life. And my advice to you, based on my experience, based on elevated listening, is to listen to your intuition. Listen to that little voice that comes up when you meet someone and you think to yourself, something seems off here. I don't feel a connection. Instead of saying, you know what? We could probably work this out, even though you like A and I like B, and you're adamant about this and I'm adamant about that. Why don't we start a relationship together? Now, can that work? Sure, if you have absolute boundaries and if both people are confident in who they are. But most likely what typically happens is what it's happened to me over time is there's a little part that's insecure and we see the other person as being really secure and we feel like, okay, well, if I'm in a relationship with this person, their confidence will rub off on me. That's not been my experience. It doesn't happen. What ends up happening is the person who's extremely confident loses respect for the other person. And so they lose respect and sometimes they walk away, but sometimes they don't. And they just play games with us using passive aggressive behavior, putting us down. And so we then have less confidence than we had before, and we put up with it. We tolerate it. But that's our choice. And so what I'm encouraging is for you to listen to your intuition. If your intuition is telling you that something doesn't feel right, it most likely isn't. If you see someone posting something on your Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn and it doesn't resonate with you and it's coming from a place of anger and hatred, why would you engage? Because now you have aligned yourself with the angry person. You're not going to get them to change their mind. You can forgive them, but you don't have to have them in your life. And it's the same thing with your family and your friends and your colleagues. There may be times when you have relationships that you need to participate in for the greater good, so to speak. And so you've set a boundary that you're not going to become emotionally attached. You can be in the same room, you can be part of a committee, part of a team, because you don't have a choice unless you decide to walk away, which also is a choice. But maybe you're giving up your career, maybe you're giving up your job, maybe you have to move to a new chapter in your life and you're not ready. So we set these boundaries and we say, okay, I'm going to forgive this person or persons or entity, but that doesn't mean I have to welcome them into my life. And by the way, we don't have to let them know. So what do I mean by this? And I'm using social media a lot because many of us are on social media. This program right now is on social media. I see things on my Facebook and my Instagram from people that I know, and they're just filled with anger. And it's typically about politics. And I get it. Believe me. But I'm not aligning myself with it. I'm not commenting. I'm not following. I'm not posting. I'm just staying aware. I'm staying aware of who is angry and how they're expressing themselves. But are they actually doing anything constructive? And most times, no. The answer is they're not. They're just being angry and posting their own hatred. And I say, you know what? Take that negativity and channel it into something positive. Go help someone. Go volunteer. Go give back. Be a mentor. Do something that's positive instead of just sitting and criticizing other people, because that doesn't help. And that's not helping us get inner peace or be productive as human beings. So in the last part of this show, what I really want to focus on is forgiveness is an internal process of letting go. And I've actually interviewed people who have been through some horrific things where someone in their family was killed, violently attacked, a victim of some crime. And they had a choice, which is, how can I forgive this person? Because if I don't forgive them for wronging my family member, I can't go on, because I'm so consumed with hatred. And that hatred, and this is what people don't realize, it's toxic. It eats away at the very core of who we are. Excuse me. And so it affects our health. It affects our sleep. People don't want to be around us. They say, you know what? This person's so angry. So we work on forgiveness, and it's a process of letting go. It's a process of saying, okay, I have no control over this. Sometimes this is where guilt comes in. We think maybe we could have stopped something from happening. But if you believe in divine intervention, if you believe that, the universe has a plan for all of us, there's nothing that we could have done. It was meant to happen the way that it was happening. And we have to decide, how are we going to process it? So forgiveness is a process. It's a process many times that we try to do alone. But there are times when we need to talk to someone, and that could be someone from religious background. It could be a therapist. It could be a coach. It could be a mentor. It could be someone we deeply trust who's not going to judge us for sharing some of our intimate thoughts about how difficult it is to forgive someone who's wronged us. The emotional confusion people feel when forgiveness is then equated with an invitation, it happens all the time, and it requires us once again to set a boundary. So we forgive the person, which in and of itself could have been very complex and emotionally draining. And then they sometimes confuse that. If we say, you know what, I forgive you, and I'm really forgiving you for myself. so that I can have peace of mind. And then the person thinks, okay, well, I guess we can just pick up where we left off. So we actually have to frame it up as we are healing our own hearts without reopening that chapter of our life. Now, I've had people contact me and people have shared with me, well, I love this person so much. They did this to me and this to me and this, but I've forgiven them and I'm going to take them back. And what ends up happening is, I've seen it so many times, a complete lack of respect comes from both people. So you've let them back into your life. They tell you they're not going to do it again. But unless they've changed their own behavior, unless they've changed their value system, unless they've changed how they see you, the same behavior patterns typically repeat themselves. Think about that. You go through all the pain. You go through all the processing of forgiving them. You give them one more chance. And they do the same thing again. Now, can you blame them? Or is it now time to look at your own behavior and say, you know what? I've had enough. Now, when we think about religion, I just had a conversation with a friend earlier today. I know myself, I want to believe that everyone has good inside them. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And in fact, my dad used to call me out on it. He'd say, you trust everyone. And I have trusted pretty much everyone who is in my life. And let me tell you something, not a great plan personally or professionally, because I've been hurt. I have been lied to. I have had business relationships where people basically just stole my money and didn't deliver what they said. And so there are hard lessons to learn, but yet there's still a part of me that believes there's some good in them. And maybe there is. But what I've learned is it's not my job to bring it out of them. It's not my job to give you a second, third, fourth, fifth chance. It's my job to say, you know what? You've shown me who you are, and I can't unsee what I now know. That doesn't mean I wish anyone ill will. That doesn't mean I go to sleep at night and go, oh, please God, let this or that happen to them. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I found a way to forgive all of those who have wronged me, but I no longer choose to have them in my life. I'm listening to myself. I'm listening to my intuition. I'm wishing them peace. I'm wishing them the ability to look in the mirror and see who they are. Just like I have to look in the mirror and see who I am. I've made mistakes in my life, and I've learned to forgive myself because I'm not perfect. No one is. But I don't continue to demonstrate the same behavior patterns. And when someone is showing you that, believe them. We do not have the power to change one single person other than ourselves. I've been in relationships with people and I think, you know what? Give me enough time and I'll fix them. Really, what an ego statement to think I could actually fix anyone. The only thing we can do is fix ourselves, and that's almost impossible. It takes a huge amount of work and commitment. And so that's what I'm committing to do for myself, is to be aware of what works and what doesn't. Be aware of when someone does something to me that doesn't feel right, that I can set a boundary and not let them in to begin with. And if they're already in, I can set a new boundary and say, it's time for us to go. It's time for us to part ways. So wherever it is that you get your strength from, we have a comment here. Yes, go and read the Bible. Beautiful. You can read the Bible. You can do research. You can do inner work. You can meet with coaches. You can meditate. There's so many things that you can do. Just be aware of when you are forgiving someone that does not mean you are giving them an invitation to come back into your life. You set the boundary. You make the decision and you decide what feels good and what doesn't. Thank you for listening today. I really do appreciate it. My intro says that I'll be here at 8 o'clock. So I try to be here at 8 p.m. at night, but sometimes with my schedule, it's not possible. But I do have some things I want to share with you. I'm really excited. I have a new book coming out. It's called Stop Giving Away Your Value: Boundaries, Pricing, and the Business of Respect. And the reason I've written this book is for myself, but also for others, because there are so many of us who are undermining our own value. And we have a product or a service, we have something that we offer, and then someone says, well, will you take this for it? Or can I get a deal on that? And we immediately cave. We cave in. Why? Because we don't value ourselves. This book is going to give you actual tools of how you can set boundaries, how you can determine what your pricing is, and how you can acknowledge that just because you are in business doesn't mean that you don't have to respect yourself. You have to respect yourself, and you have to respect what it is, the value that you're bringing, your value proposition, what it is that you are giving to your constituents, to your clients, to your colleagues, maybe to your family, maybe to your community. You have value. So look for this book. It is available on Amazon as a pre-order for the ebook. And the second thing I want to share is I do have an opportunity for a collaborative book project, which I've put together. We're in the process of creating it. It's called When Everything Looks Fine But Isn't: Women's Success and the Scoreboard, we never stop playing. What is this about? This is an opportunity to write a chapter in this book where you will share how your life looked one way to the outside world, but inside, in reality, it was another way. And we see this all the time. And a perfect example someone shared with me is if you have a spouse and your spouse is working and you're supporting your spouse by taking care of the kids and taking care of the home and also helping the spouse with the spouse work in some ways, and then you never get to be recognized. It's always about the spouse and what they're doing, and you almost feel invisible. Or maybe you have a really successful business, but inside you're self-loathing. Inside, you don't believe you've accomplished anything. Or to the public, your business looks one way, but in actuality, it's another way. This book is an opportunity for people to be involved by writing a chapter and getting their story out and being aligned with the work that I've done so that people can acknowledge the fact that you also have something to offer. I'm all about collaborations and helping people succeed. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm going to close out. I have a new single that I released. It's called Please Listen to What I Say. It's available on Apple iTunes. It's available on Spotify. It's available on Amazon. And this is just a short clip. So thank you again for being here. And if you want to contact me, the contact details are in the show notes. Bye for now.
Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.